Okay, today 2003 GMC Envoy. This vehicle was brought in with a check engine light on. Had two codes in it. One of them for p0013, which is for the exhaust camshaft actuator. It's not a circuit code, it is a general code. I don't care what the service information says, I'm going to tell you guys now it's a general code. Lack of actuation, a solenoid circuit code other than open, so if it was like a high resistance, you get a p0013. And I've seen it just too many times. Yes, at times they do set other codes along with it, but in this case here, that's not the case. Now, right now, I have the amp probe set up out there, and we are, just to show you, tied in over here at this shiny new solenoid. So we're going to go around one wire that's there, and we're going to take a look to see whether or not we get any current going out there. They thought they were going to need a PCM. What they didn't realize is that when it sets a code to p0013, it will actually shut down the solenoid. So I'm going to try to get this into a spot here where you guys can see it. And to make this actuated idle, you have to drop it in gear and preload. So foot way down on the brake and accelerate. And there is our current. Current is there. And I will show you guys some scan data, but well, all right, there we go. We already popped the check engine light, so I'm gonna actually have to clear that in order to show you guys the service data. Maybe I'll show you that part too. So let me shut it off for a second. Sorry for bouncing around here, but all right. Bring the scanner in here. It's already hooked up as a scan tool as well. So let's get out of transmission. That was the other code that was in there, p0748, which I may or may not make the video with. We'll see. Go into our all powertrain codes, and there it is again, our 0013 exhaust cam position actuator solenoid. Notice it's a very generic code. It doesn't say open, circuit, shorted, or anything else like that. So we are going to clear that code right now. Well, actually, you know what? Let me show you why we're going to clear the code. If we go into data display and we go into sensor data on this bad boy, and we start it up, let's make that custom, deselect, and what we want is cam, 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 cam. And look at our list view. And actually, I'll make that a graph for you guys. Alright, so cam phasor actual degrees, cam phasor duty cycle, our desired degrees, and our variance. So if we are, well, I'll show you now, and then I'll pause it. So here's me accelerating. You can see the duty cycle jumped up to 100%, and I'm going to pause it there. Cam phase variance was at its max. It commanded 20 degrees, and it ended up having 20 degree variance, meaning that it never moved. But you can look at here, cam phase actual degrees. It never moved. We do have a little bit of information here from the customer after the fact, which is that they ran it all the way down on oil to the point where it wasn't even on a dipstick, and all they drained out was just about a quart of oil. So you can see where this would be heading. So here we are, we have current going out to our solenoid. Our solenoid does actuate. Remember, it has to be moving in there. And if I go back to that, let's see if I still have that on there. File, no, that's not what we want. Data manager, and scope multimeter data file. Tap, and let's see. Yes, I do label them Buick junk. Envoy, that's the PC solenoid. Here's our VVT one, and double tap that. And I'll bring it up so we can see it. So this is what we were seeing amperage wise going in and out of that solenoid. Now there's no real good way to see a pintle hump on these, but what I do look for is this right here, that little tiny slope that's here. Seeing that little slope, all right, tells me that at some point there the current had dropped down just very slightly. When it first turned on, it had an inrush current, and then it dropped down very slightly because there was a mechanical relief. So in this case here, if I don't see that slope and these things look like they're almost squared out, that would tell me that I would have some type of an issue there where the solenoid itself might be held. Again, that's been my experience. But anyhow, that was what we had there. We had obviously at least 4 amps on there. These solenoids ohm out. They should be about 8 ohms, which is perfectly fine. And our problem with this car is a mechanical issue. So when we're commanding it on and we're not getting any movement and we have good oil pressure, because they have already replaced the oil on this thing, and we do have good oil pressure coming up there to the VVT, at that point there what we have is that helical camshaft actuator is no longer moving. It's frozen, it's stuck in place, whether that be from debris that it picked up when the oil was very low, whether it be just from from getting so hot that it actually sat there and kind of froze up on them. Whatever the case may be, this is going to be mechanical. This thing is going to get pulled apart and that helical phaser is going to get changed. And while they're in there, they're going to go probably right after they do, or maybe even just before they do that, they're going to run a couple of cans of oil flush through this thing, a couple of oil changes in a row, try to clean up any other debris that's in there, remove the actuator, and take it from there. But I wanted to, again, just to really show you that important part of it there, which was that scan data. This is what you have in front of you. When you see this and you have current and you know that your oil control solenoid, even though it's new, doesn't mean it's good, but if it ohms out okay and you can look at it this way and see current going through at 4 amps and seeing that kind of variance, that means you're dealing with something mechanical. Now I did do the lab scope already on there originally, the cam crank, just to see if there was any advance at all. There was nothing. I mean, it doesn't move, not even a little bit. So this PID right here is sufficient for what you would need. I always question it, so I just double checked it before I decided to make the video to show you guys. But I'm not going to go through all that again. Anyhow, this is what we're dealing with. And the transmission solenoid code, just to give you an idea, it is in the transmission itself there when it turns on that solenoid. It's not really just looking at amperage. Let's see, where was I again? Oh, I did it again. Go back into Data Manager one more time. And Envoy PC solenoid. And we had current as well going in and out of the PC solenoid. It did not see any change at all though on the pressure switch. So that's all we had on this. Pretty simple, easy, but again, I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. Have a good one.